was your name?
My name is Mark.
A little more adjusting. Okay, Mark, and your last name?
Bitz, B as in boy, I-T-Z.
Mark, tell me a little bit about, when you were with this. He was with your fire department for a while. He was, what, a junior member?
Jeremy was a junior member in 1998, 1999. He was with Jersey Village High School and became one of our junior firefighters.
What was he like with the fire department?
Well, I didn't know him at that time. I was not the fire chief here then. But from what I understand, he was a good kid. He was willing to do what he needed to do to become a firefighter. And he had plans to go into the military, so he left for A&M, from what I understand.
my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down upon green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You've anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Thomas said, Lord, how do we know the way? Not to be about death, but to be a celebration of life. Jeremy Ray lived a remarkable life. He lived life to the fullest. Jesus Christ said, I have come to give you life, and that life was abundant. I want us today to choose to dance rather than mourn. I want us to choose today to celebrate life rather than be completely focused and obsessed with the idea of death. One of the great ironies of holding a funeral service in a church is this. This is the place where brides walk the aisle to meet a groom. This is the place where young parents bring their infants to be dedicated. This is the place where young men and women come to kneel and receive Jesus Christ as their Savior. Not in this building, and he was baptized in that building. Someday, if you wish, I can take you to that exact spot. That building has been renovated, but I can take you to that spot where he first walked that aisle, and I can show you the spot where he was baptized. This is the place where people come and kneel and share their deepest prayers to God. Some of those lifelong friends are the Linders. I was reminded of a Christmas verse where Mary, as she tells the wonderful story of Christmas to Luke, there's this summary verse in which Luke says, and Mary cherished all of those stories and kept them in her heart. The other day when I was visiting with Debbie, she said, there's a story I remember when Jeremy was a little boy. He and Kenny Linder were born within just days of each other. Rhonda and Debbie were pregnant all during that time, and they played together. And one day they came home, and they had all this yellow pollen around their mouths. And they thought that they had been enjoying honeysuckles. You know how you peel the end off and you pull the stain through and you get the sweet little bit of sugar on the end? Instead, they were enjoying Carolina jasmine. Debbie and Rhonda called the poison center. Turns out that is a noxious flower, and they had to take them to the hospital together. There they received their ipecac, and they were treated for their misdeeds. It wasn't the last time that they got in trouble together, but friends are an important part of who life is. Jeremy went to school here. He went to Jersey Village High School. He played football Jersey Village High School. I've seen some of the former football players for the Jersey Village High School Falcons. Jeremy was a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout, and he received his Eagle Scout Award. And some of you are here from that Scout troop. I want you to help me real quickly. If you're a lifelong friend of the Rays, if you grew up with Jeremy here in Jersey Village, perhaps you went to school with him, perhaps you played football with him, perhaps you were a scout with him, would you please stand very quietly and reverently this time? We want to see who you are. If you represent his childhood and his years here at Jersey Village. Thank you so much for being here today. When Jeremy weren't that many choices for him, he was going to go to Texas A&M University. He loved everything about it. He fully immersed himself into the school. He became a member of the Corps of Cadets. He gave himself completely to that task and to the school. There was a conversation that I heard that early on in his process, someone actually left a dead rat outside of his door. Jeremy found out who that was. Let's just say that he went to the room and they had a meeting of the minds and they clarified the situation, and Jeremy assured the young man that that would never happen again. They had an agreement, and as far as we know, that never happened again. Over the last few days, I've heard incredible stories of how dedicated H1 was and how committed Jeremy was to his cadets and his friends and the Corps, and how much that was a part of his life, and how much he loved Texas A&M University. If you are here today and you are a member of that outstanding family, perhaps you're a member of the Corps. I saw many of you here today. Maybe you're a student, a former student at Texas A&M University. You went to school with Jeremy. You represent that fine institution. I want you to quietly and reverently just stand and let us see who you are today. If you're a part of the A&M family. We're so grateful for so many of the Corps of Cadets who've come here today to be a part. It was not enough for him. It was simply not enough that he be a part of the Corps and graduate and go on to live the rest of his life. He began to talk to his mother and his father about serving his country. He began to talk to his family about a sense of commitment. And even though at times the family members encouraged him, you do realize that this is a volunteer process. This is a volunteer army. You don't have to go. Jeremy's response to his family and to his friends was simply this: if I don't go, if everyone had that idea, if everyone thought that somebody else will go, someone else will take care of this, someone else will fight this war, what if everybody thought that way? What if everybody did that? Then who would be there to protect this country? And so with a sense of honor and duty, Jeremy Ray volunteered. He willingly and gladly and pridefully became a part of our armed services to support this nation and to protect our freedom. I want to ask first that if you are a veteran of the armed services, if you would please stand at this time, quietly, wherever you are. If you currently serve in any branch, any area of the United States Armed Forces, would you please stand at this time? Thank you so much. We're appreciative of General Mann being here, sitting with the family, for those who have, Captain Grissom and others who have taken such good care of his family. On behalf of the family, we thank you for everything that you've done. The personal touch that you've extended far exceeds our expectations. We are grateful for all that you have done. Some of you are here today, and you are here out of support of people on the way in today who too have lost their children in Iraq. And they are here for you today. They are here today to show their support. They are here today to show their love and their care for you. I want to take just a minute to read a couple of emails and letters that we've gotten. This comes from an aunt who said, I just want you to know I'm praying for you today along the Ray family. My prayer is that God will anoint that told us that a young man from our area died in this incident. Please let the family know that his death was not in vain. We deeply appreciate what he was doing over there for us so that we can live without the threat of terrorism. I write this from a soldier who served under First Lieutenant Jeremy Ray. He said, I recently moved into First Lieutenant Ray's platoon once we got into the theater, Iraq, and the LT came off to me as being very professional and tactful about his mission at hand. He respected us as NCOs and as leaders who had been in combat before and would question us on our experiences and knowledge gained from previous tours. He was also a man who was very generous with his belongings. For example, he would share with me his magazines and books when I had nothing to read or do. He let me use his laptop computer because it had a built-in webcam so that my wife could see my face. He was always giving. I will miss his generosity. Remember him as a decent man and miss him as my platoon leader. Big guns, sir. Corporal Brandon Bruce. Family members write this and close friends. Jeremy was the most polite and respectful person we've ever known. He had a unique smile. We'll miss his visit during the holidays and other special occasions. The Lindners, the Shottles write this. Jeremy would always come over to the house each time that he would come in from A&M. Kevin and Jeremy were such good friends. Baseball, football, scouts, JV fire department. Jeremy was always a great kid. We would laugh at him and Kevin and the things that they did together. He will always be in our hearts as one of our son's best friends. Curtis Lindsay, H1 class of 06, were simply right to extend my deepest sympathy to you and your family for the loss of your son, First Lieutenant Jeremy Ray, who was killed during combat operations in Iraq. He was an outstanding soldier and leader. From his first days in the squadron, his commitment and dedication were evident. As I assigned him to a platoon in the Howitzer Battery, I could see the eagerness in his eyes and the pride that came with leading soldiers. Jeremy was well recognized for his professionalism and his hard work. He strove to give his best to everything he did during every mission. Jeremy's courage and conviction while serving in King Battery will have a lasting impact on his fellow troopers, the battery, and throughout the squadron. I hope that you find some measure of comfort in knowing that Jeremy was both respected and loved by the soldiers of his squadron. Please know that our hearts, thoughts, and prayers are with you and your family. If I can be of any assistance to you, if you have any special requests, please feel free to contact me anytime. That letter comes from his commanding officer. I want to ask you to help me very briefly. If you can think, anyone else? Jeremy's very strong in all of his convictions. He really was. Thank you so much, Allison.
Present. Present.